Starting with 6. It was 2014 when an unusual incident took place at the police station in Espanola, New Mexico. It all started when Officer Carl Romero was on duty, monitoring the station's surveillance cameras. While watching the footage, he noticed something strange in the sally port, a secured area where officers bring in suspects. At first, Romero thought it might just be a moth or some other bug flying across the camera. But then, he saw what looked like legs, as if a person was walking through. However, there was no one physically present.
At first, I thought it was like a polilla, like a fly, a moth. And then I saw the legs and it was a human.
But not a real human?
No, it was just a ghost.
Then, Romero immediately reported what he saw to his supervisors. They reviewed the footage and confirmed that the mysterious figure appeared to be walking in the area. But there was no logical way for a person to be there.
It walks in the direction of the old transport cages, and there's not really any way for it to get out through there, but it seems to walk right through that.
The sally port is a secured space, meaning the only way in or out is through a locked gate, which triggers an alarm if opened. No alarms had gone off, and no gates were opened at the time. Yet the figure seemed to move toward the old transport cages and then disappear, as if it passed right through solid barriers. The officers who examined the footage couldn't find any explanation for what happened. They ruled out issues like lighting problems or a glitch in the cameras. The mysterious figure continued to baffle them. Interestingly, this wasn't the first time strange things had been reported at the station. Some officers had shared their own eerie experiences, like feeling as if someone was breathing down their neck while they worked in the briefing room. Others had heard strange noises late at night or seen odd, unexplainable images in the lobby area. Next, on number 5, the police station was almost too calm, a stillness lingering in the air as 4 officers went about their routine. One officer is sitting in front of the desk, while the other 3 are casually chatting behind the desk, unaware of the eerie event about to unfold. Suddenly, the quiet was shattered. Both front gates creaked and groaned as they swung open, not just once, but twice. The officers froze, their eyes darting to each other, questioning silently. Was it a draft? Just a strong gust of wind? Or something else? They strained their eyes, watching both doors swing slowly, steadily, as if someone, or something, was pushing them open. But there was no one in sight. No one nearby who could be staging some prank or pulling off some elaborate trick. The eerie motion was so silent and strange that it seemed impossible to ignore. One officer visibly stepped forward. He moved cautiously to the entrance, his pulse quickening as he placed a hand on the door, peering into the dark outside. Another officer, watching this from across the room, stepped forward with a frown, muttering to himself. There was nothing outside, yet the doors moved as if being guided by invisible hands. Each officer stood in stunned silence, trying to rationalize what had just occurred. Another officer pulled out his phone. He pressed record, whispering to himself that no one would ever believe this story unless they saw it with their own eyes. The others watched in tense silence as he filmed the scene, capturing the unsettling stillness of the room. The way their eyes kept flicking back to the doors as if expecting them to open again on their own. They decided to check outside once more, stepping cautiously beyond the doors, their breaths forming faint clouds in the night air. They scanned the shadows, searching for any trace of movement. But the silence was deafening. Nothing stirred, no sign of any intruder or any explanation. That night, they all left the station with a chill that lingered in their bones, wondering if they'd truly seen something beyond understanding. It was an ordinary shift, until it wasn't. Now, a question lingered in their minds. Could it have been something unexplainable? And could they ever truly convince themselves it hadn't happened? Let's move on to our next case. On August 23, 2021, a security guard is making his midnight rounds in a hospital. Now, this place is completely empty. No patients, no nurses, just dark, silent hallways. The kind of quiet that makes you feel like something's watching even when you're alone. As he's walking, he spots something down the hall. A wheelchair. It's just sitting there, perfectly still. He stops to look at it, probably just thinking, that's odd. But then it happens. The wheelchair tilts slightly, almost like it's alive, checking if he's watching. Can you imagine that? And here's where it gets even creepier. The wheelchair starts rolling forward, slowly, smoothly, like it has all the time in the world. At this point, the guard's probably frozen, heart pounding, just watching this empty wheelchair glide down the hallway, and there's no one there, no hidden person pushing it. Just that wheelchair, moving by itself, like it has a mind of its own. After that night, something tells me he's probably not signing up for another night shift anytime soon. Next, we have Lisel Alvarez, who uploaded a chilling video from a security camera, and it wasn't long before it went viral. In the footage, a man appears to be waving to someone in the dark. His hand gestures seem friendly, as though he's trying to guide someone, a stranger only he can see. The security guard heads toward the door, his face focused with concern. According to his later testimony, he believed he was helping a lost woman, someone who seemed confused and needed guidance. He starts talking, his movements suggesting he's trying to calm or direct her. But here's the terrifying twist. The security camera showed no one there. The footage revealed that the man was entirely alone, speaking to nothing but empty space. Yet, in that strange moment, he was convinced he was not alone. As he finishes what looks like a conversation, he receives a call from the security camera operator on his phone, likely to share the strange acts of him. Mid-call, a horrifying realization dawns on him. The voice on the other end confirms what he didn't want to believe. There's no one there but him. No lost woman, no one needing help. Just a cold, empty lobby. Panic floods his face. He backs up, glancing around the empty building, his eyes wide with dread. Suddenly, he bolts toward the elevator, jabbing at the buttons in desperation, but the elevator isn't responding. Heart racing, he gives up, dashes out of the building, and disappears into the night, leaving the shadowy figure behind. Word spread quickly. The man never returned to the building after that night. What he described as an old, lost woman looking for her way home was, many believe, something far more sinister, a ghost from a past he could never understand. Now, let's go back to another quiet summer night, almost 4 years ago in June, when an unusual call broke the silence of a public gym in a park. Police were summoned to investigate. Neighbors had reported strange happenings at the park, whispering about its eerie atmosphere. But as the cops arrived, they had no idea they'd encounter something far more chilling than they'd ever imagined. There, under the dim glow of park lights, they witnessed a sight that sent shivers down their spines. The gym equipment was moving on its own. The swings creaked slowly back and forth, and the elliptical machines moved as if something, was exercising. The officers watched, their instincts telling them to approach, but their feet frozen in place. They felt as though an unseen force was staring back at them, daring them to step closer. They tried to reason with what they saw. Maybe it was the wind or faulty machinery, but there was no one to be seen, and no breeze to explain the strange, rhythmic movements. As the officers stood rooted in fear, a chill spread through the air. It was clear they weren't alone. Whatever it was couldn't be seen, yet its presence was unmistakable, heavy as if it filled the entire park with a sinister energy. One officer reached for his flashlight, but even in the beam of bright light, nothing appeared, not a single shadow or sign of life. The equipment continued to move, eerily steady, like something or someone was determined to finish a workout from beyond the grave. The officers, gripped by terror, retreated slowly, unwilling to turn their backs on whatever presence lurked in the darkness. As they left the park, there were more questions than answers. The mystery of the haunted gym unsolved, the ghostly presence now a local legend, forever part of the park's haunted history. Last on our list is the clip from October 1st, 2017. One of the most chilling videos ever recorded on school grounds, and people still talk about it today. This eerie footage came from a school on the south side of Cork City, known as Deer Park CBS. The school's surveillance camera caught a series of terrifying events that seemed straight out of a horror movie. In mid of the night, doors began slamming shut and flying open with no one in sight. Lockers creaked open on their own, as if disturbed by an unseen force, spilling books and tins onto the floor. It was as if something, or someone, was trying to make its presence known. The footage was so convincing that even skeptics found it hard to dismiss it as staged. But that wasn't the end of the horror. The school principal later shared a chilling backstory. The school, one of the oldest in the area, was built over mass graves where English forces had once hanged countless people. Some claim these restless spirits may still roam the grounds, haunting the hallways and lurking in the shadows. Is it a ghost? Or a wandering soul refusing to be forgotten? The mystery remains unsolved, adding to Deer Park CBS's eerie reputation as the world's most haunted school. Do you witness any paranormal activity in your life? If yes, share in the comments section. Thanks for watching.